So learning and knowledge are powerful tools. Remember Leonardo da Vinci, who stated the natural desire of a good man is knowledge. But how do you continuously learn? How do you include the daily learning opportunities in your life? How do you do it beyond a school schedule, a work schedule, and the daily life pressures? So let's look at steps to cultivate a lifelong learning. First, always have a book. This is easy now in today's age. And it doesn't matter if it takes you a year or a week to read a book. Always strive to have a book with you that you're reading through. And take it with you so you can read it when you have time. Just by shaving off a few minutes in between activities, you can read about a book per week. And that's at least 50 books per year. Second, keep a to-learn list. We all have to-do lists, and they're tasks that you want to accomplish. But do you have a to-learn list? On it, you can write down some ideas for new areas of studies. Maybe you'd like to take up a new language or learn a skill or read a collective works of Shakespeare. Whatever motivates you, write it down. I took the opportunity one time to read Cosmos. I was blown out of the water. However, it was interesting and I took something from it. Third, have some intellectual friends. Spend more time with people who think, not people who are smart, but people who actually think, people who want to learn new skills. And maybe their habit's going to run off on you. Fourth, try some guided thinking. Albert Einstein once said, any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into a lazy habit of thinking. Simply studying the wisdom of others isn't enough. You have to think through the ideas yourself. Spend some time journaling, meditating, and contemplating over ideas that you have learned. Practice. Skill-based learning isn't useful unless it's applied. So reading a book on software design isn't the same as writing a program. Studying a painting isn't the same as picking up a brush. And if your knowledge can be applied, then put it into practice. Make sure that you teach others. You learn what you teach. If you have an outlet of communicating ideas to others, you're more likely to solidify that learning. So start a blog, mentor someone, or even discuss ideas with a friend. Have you decided how to clean up your input? So some forms of learning are really easy to digest, but they lack some substance. So regularly clean out your feed. Think about what blogs you subscribe to, and maybe you want to unsubscribe. Remember where it is. Remember that if you're just skimming, you're not really learning. So be sure that you purify your input and to really focus on what counts. Be sure that you learn in group. It doesn't mean that you need to hide in the back stacks of the library or look through dusty textbooks. Join some organizations that teach skills like Toastmasters. Workshops, group learning events can make educating yourself a fun experience. Assumptions. We need to all unlearn assumptions. Why? Because you can't add water to a full cup, right? Too many convictions simply mean too many paths for few ideas. Actively seek out information that contradicts your worldview. Have you been with people that need to unlearn assumptions? We were talking about this recently in our family about somebody we knew that you couldn't learn anything from them because they were too busy lecturing. Right? We know people like that. So make sure that we take a step back as well and see what we have assumed. How can we learn? Next, encourage learning. Pick a career or something that is going to encourage learning. If you're in a job that doesn't have a lot of intellectual freedom, consider switching to one that does. You don't have to spend 40 hours a week in a job that doesn't challenge you or something you don't like. Next, start a project. Set out to do something you don't know how to do. Forcing yourself to do something is really challenging. I did this once. I learned how to build a bench. Oh my goodness, it was an incredible project and it was very stressful, but I learned something incredibly wonderful. Check out YouTube. There's all kinds of wonderful things out there like painting. Intuition. Follow it. Lifelong learning isn't about wandering around. You can't be sure what to expect, but you need to remember that your intuition can guide you to make it enjoyable. Most of your lives have been broken down into logical decisions, and that has made some choices stamped out, right? No more choices on a whim. But take some choices on a whim. Wander through your local bookstore and see what intuitively hits you. What do you want to learn? The morning 15. Have you ever tried this? Use your first 15 minutes in the morning for a period of education. All right, I do this, but my morning 15 is not in the morning. My morning 15 is later in the day. I call it my afternoon 15. So you really want to be able to learn and spend a period of every day where you have dedicated to learning something new. Reap the rewards. Learn information that you can use. Understand the basics of something. Meet a situation that makes you use some educational efforts. All of this is very fulfilling, and it's going to be a great source of pride. Make it a priority. Learning has to be a priority. Few external forces are going to persuade you to learn, and the desire has to come from within. Once you decide you want to make lifelong learning a habit, it's up to you to make it a priority in your life. So now, you need to ponder. Remember, the essential leadership concept of continuous learning provides that scaffold you need to span that information gap. What other ways can you think of to implement learning into your daily life?